Hello, hello. How are you doing? Let me see where the playlist has gone. Probably gonna hear it soon. There we go. Hey everyone. Oh, I already have some comments. Let's see. Hi Donna, hope you're having a good time. Hey Elegant Coder, thank you. Hope you're gonna join the stream. How are you? Sono is saying, hey, please start new beginner friendly projects which ends in like 2 to 3 hours. Well, I do have such projects. I have clone UIs. I have API projects, especially the yes/no API. Let me find it. It's a JavaScript project, right? So the CSS is not from scratch there. I'm giving you the CSS there. So let me just a second find it. I'm doing good, thanks. Glad to hear that. So let me just quick find it, because otherwise I could also do like, after this project ends, we could do a very beginner project, but obviously it's not going to end in 2 to 3 hours, right? Because it's like, things take time. And honestly, so why I started streaming projects, because it's much easier to stream them and code along and everything, rather than having a video, needing to edit it. There's a lot of going on behind the scenes of editing a video, scripting the video, and you know, getting the project done. So maybe if I have time for it, we could do that. But honestly, I think that like streaming works pretty well and we're having a lot of fun, so I don't know. So I found, wait, where's my chat? I found the link, let me post it here. So this is beginner friendly . Start with vanilla project. Happy Diwali from India, yes, to all the celebrating. So I posted it in the chat, you should see it soon. That's the yes/no API challenge, and you can build up from there, I guess, if you want. But yeah, of course, if you also have any other ideas for any other projects that we should do next, then definitely let me know what you want. Just don't say to-do lists, because I don't do to-do lists. It's just a no-no. But yeah. So today, what are we gonna do is, we left a couple of the to-dos from last time, so we're gonna be doing those. I just put like the music a little bit lower. Just got a notification about your live stream, so I thought, let me join and start assuming myself as JavaScript and React expert, which I am not. Well, we're all here on different levels and we're kind of like, you know, coding along, and whenever you have any questions, then for sure ask them, let me know what's not clear. I'm also not like the expertiest expert in the world, but my streams are kind of here to prove that you don't need to be an expert in order to just like get your hands on code and just go do projects and enjoy them. So that's kind of like the gist. And also something to put in your portfolio if you are on the lookout for stuff to put in your portfolio. So yeah, on my banner on the channel, I have that I'm your code along bestie, and that's what I'm here for. Okay, let me show you this one. Yep. So that's what we are doing. This is how our beautiful, beautiful website looks like now. We did this last time, super proud of it. We're not in an endless loop anymore, even though I know I said it last time, but that was like a tiny hiccup. We added the icons and this yellow circle, it's not a dot. Then we also did, when we go to a product, we see the product. We have here this also part of code, which we called, I think, benefits. And then we also have a For You section. And once we click on another thing, it will scroll to the top, yeah, and show us another product. So one of our to-dos, which is not specified in our code, but one of the to-dos was to also randomize those products. And maybe I should write this to-do somewhere. Wait a second, before I forget it. So in the recommended, I have a loading state, but in this hook, yeah, it should be here, a to-do, randomize recommended chunk of products. Okay. Hey, are you an employee? If yes, in which company do you work, whether it's remote or full-time? Yes, I am an employee. I work in a company, a very famous company, a very known company. It's on my website if you want to check it. I'm not gonna probably announce it like that. I don't know. It just feels awkward to do that. I work full-time, and for now it's remote because of the current situation in the world. Of course, if somebody needs to go to the office, they always can, because people have different situations in their houses, in their work environment, so they kept the office open for a very, very limited amount of people if needed. And actually, good that you're asking, next week I need to go to the office for like an on-site event with my team, because we have had some restructuring in our organization and we're like assembling a new team. So next Tuesday I cannot stream. So maybe I can put up a poll to check if we should move this stream. Move Tuesday's stream. Monday or Wednesday. There we go. I put a poll and you can vote. So yeah, because my work office is quite far from home and I'm gonna be finishing like around 5:30, and there is no way I'm gonna manage it to be in time home. And you know, after like a whole day in the office, which doesn't happen often at all right now, I really think I will not have the energy to do a stream. I think my social batteries are gonna be depleted a lot. Like very, 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 a lot depleted? No, like to the maximum. Have you tried React Query before? No, actually I haven't. I heard about it, and I have heard also people, so I sometimes interview people for our company, and many of them do like React Query, but I haven't tried it myself. Have you? Is it good? Okay, also vote in the poll. Ooh, Monday is leading. Interesting. I mean, it would make sense, right? Monday is like, let's get it started. Let's do this. But yeah. Alrighty, so let's get back to our to-do. By the way, all the files are on GitHub. They're all updated. I push after every stream. So if you want to grab them, then they are there. The link is in the description box below, right below this video, right here. You can find the GitHub repo, the UI design. I didn't design it, I took it from Behance, from Piotr Medycki. I hope I'm pronouncing his name or their name right, because several streams I'm saying that, but I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it correct. So, also we have the Makeup API, which is again a third-party API. We didn't create it, we're just using it. And that's where we get all of our lovely data. React Query is what you would call a specialized library. It holds an API cache for you, nothing else. And since it is specialized, it does that job quite well and requires less code. Okay. We're not doing any cache here though, so I think we're okay without it for now. And again, like, we can always add more and more things on top of it, but for now, we don't have many add-ons, we don't have many packages. And I usually like to keep it simple like that. So we have the base of React, then like some testing library that React gives us. Axios to do the API call, which again was just by choice. You probably could have also gone with like fetch, so you don't really, you know, you're not really required to use Axios. And that's it. Like, everything is React, so I don't know. I mean, React Query is also React dash something, but if it's like a cache only library, then maybe not. You have any plans to use TypeScript in a future project? Yes, once I have enough knowledge to share with you. Because right now I am still figuring it out. I decided that I need to learn it. And yeah, so definitely TypeScript would be something to explore. Speaking of which, we could actually probably add some... So, speaking about our to-dos and TypeScript and everything, we have here a to-do to split to smaller components. And one sort of like equivalent of TypeScript in React could be the prop types that we check for components, right? Whenever we pass a prop. So we could do that in order to kind of practice our strict type, but of course it's not TypeScript. But we could do that. I think we should do that. I think it could be a good beginning of something beautiful. No. Do you Python Fast API as frontend API? Hack, do you mean if I use Python Fast API as a front-end API? I don't think I understand the question. I recently changed VS Code font to Fira Code and I'm loving it. Oh, nice. Fira Code is that the one I'm using? No, I'm not using Fira Code. It's the one that has like those, like if you do 3 equals, then it does it like into 1 equal, right? But the long one, it's like it has those special coding symbols. So we haven't spoken about font in a long while, but I have told everybody that I love this font, the Mona Lisa font. It's just like, it's beautiful in my opinion. And it's like, it was designed specifically for developers, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, the only issue is that it costs like $100, which, you know, probably justified, but I don't think I wanna, I'm not at a stage in life where I will pay $100 for a font. Let's put it like that. Not yet. But yeah. Also, I tend to like change opinions about what font I like. So I'd rather stick with free fonts because I'm gonna use this font and then after like 2 months I'm gonna be like, ugh, boring. So, you know. And they also have here a playground. Oh, here's Fira Code. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, exactly. So it has those things, right? And here you can see the difference between the stuff. Oh well. What do you prefer over Redux, Flux or Context plus Reducer? Yeah, I'm a big fan of Context plus Reducer. I don't know. Honestly, so I do work in projects where they use Redux, but I don't necessarily implement Redux myself. So I'm developing in a project that is already built, and I'm just like adding on my features or maintaining the features of my department. And I cannot say that I have much experience with building a project from scratch with Redux, but I do with Context API and Reducer, and like use Reducer, and I really like it. I don't know, I think it's quite simple and very straightforward, and probably also because the projects that I was building were not like very data heavy, so it was not data heavy, state heavy, so it was fine to use it for that. But I don't know. And Flux I also didn't try. So I think we wanted to use here Context API and use Reducer. So we probably will for this, for the card thingy. And could be also for the likes. That's also an option. But yeah, this might be happening next week, I guess. Or maybe first this part. I'm not sure. We will see. You know, as with everything, we're pretty like flexible here. So let's start splitting into components, shall we? So, and as always, my phone reminded me again that every hour there's going to be a break of 5 minutes, so we could rest. I can do stuff that I need and then come back to the stream. So let's go. So the first to do is check if columns make sense for a better image display. So see how our image is very tiny here, and here we have like a lot of information. It's probably because we also didn't handle responsive. I mean, so look, the website, is it responsive? You could probably say it is, as nothing, well, the footer is not. But overall, it's like you would be able to read it on a mobile, but I don't consider that a mobile design, right? Because it's pretty crappy. Like if you actually open a mobile and try to read this, it would not happen. Like it would be very hard for a user to read that. So what should we do first? Okay, I think we first should split it to smaller components, arrange whatever we have now in like tiny pieces, and then we can design it for mobile. Let's do that. So first smaller components, and then aligning the layout for mobile a little bit better. Faisal is asking, can you share some experience how you learn code when you try to learn a new language? So I know only JavaScript, right? And since I started to learn how to code, my only language was JavaScript. So I don't think I have much of opinion how to learn a second language. But for example, TypeScript, I don't know, is it a language? Is it not a language? Is it like an additional JavaScript? We have different opinions. But so my go-to would be to check if Westboss has any courses on that, because I really love how he explains things. And then if he doesn't, or if he does, then I buy a course, I watch it and I check it out. But if it doesn't, then I check official documentation. I Google learn X language, whatever it is in Google, and then check like, I don't know, 5-6 resources first that pop up, and you check what they have. So with JavaScript, I kind of know the most popular resources that I can recommend you to learn JavaScript with, and they cover like different aspects because we also learn differently, right? Some people learn better with videos, with codealogs. Some people learn better by reading articles and seeing examples. Some really just need like a task in a terminal and they do the things there, which is, for example, Free Code Camp is good at that. And then I guess with a project, you get like a more, like of a bigger picture, because like with different platforms, you get like bits here and there and there and there. And then once you start actually coding by yourself, then you can get like the connecting pieces of the puzzle. I would say that. But yeah, but in general, if I would need to learn a new language today, I would find a good online resource that suits my way of learning, be it a video, be it a course, be it maybe like some interactive platform that gives me tasks and I need to solve them. I would also highly recommend to create yourself a roadmap. So for example, if you want to learn web development, you start with HTML, then you need to learn like the syntax, you need to learn the different tags, you need to learn, I don't know, HTML. Then you have CSS, you learn like the cascading stuff, you learn the different ways to target things. Then you go to JavaScript, you learn vanilla JS, you learn the data types, you learn, you know what I mean? So you have like a whole plan how to go through it. And that would be like a generic approach I would have, be it learning a language, learning a framework, learning something else. At least that's how I feel, that you need to utilize everything that the internet has to offer you. So I think that would be the best idea. How long it took to learn JavaScript? So there are different levels to learning, right? There is like base knowledge, then there is mid knowledge, average, that's the word, average knowledge, and then there is like very advanced level knowledge. So the base, I think, was the hardest in order to understand, especially for a person who doesn't come from any computer or tech background. It was the hardest to understand that what you think that you're right doesn't necessarily mean that the browser or the computer understands it, you know? So for example, the very simple if statements, if something, you know, and you think that it's gonna be true, but you don't consider edge cases. Or my favorite was, it was actually my first feature on my first job when I did an if statement with like or thingy, you know. Let me. So I did if something or something, and this something was always true. So of course this if would always get fired. And what I actually wanted to do was if something and something in brackets, and then it had to be that. You know, it probably didn't make sense what I said, but this kind of like tricky points where you don't understand yet how the language works, because it's like a human language. It has like its own syntax, it has its own feel, and you really need to takes a while. So I would say that the base took me the longest. And then once I had a very solid base with understanding these kind of things, data types, functions with returns and promises and this kind of things, like nothing way too advanced, right? Then you go into the methods that the JavaScript offers you, the JavaScript language. You go to very deep data types, And the advanced level is, I don't know, probably still to go. But I would say that the base has taken me, I don't know. I felt comfortable with JavaScript base to average level around half a year of very intense working experience. I would say that. I was working in a startup, and at some point, colleague after colleague were like disappearing from the company, so I got more and more responsibilities, and it was hard, but it gave me so much experience and so much knowledge that I don't know if I would have gotten it anywhere else, honestly. So what you prefer, full-time job or freelancing? Honestly, full-time job. I cannot be bothered with freelancing, with finding clients. The competition is very, very high, and if I need to go after clients and finding them, I'm not gonna be doing that. I had a couple of experiences with clients, and they say that you're your own boss. It's not true. The client is your boss. So, and then you need to chase for payments and all of that. And, I live in Germany, where a payment for your job occurs every set, I don't know, time of the month. Everything is stable. If I lose the job, I have social security. If you lose freelancing jobs, you don't have social securities in Germany. So yeah, from that perspective, also tax-wise, when you need to pay, so in Germany, if you're a freelancer, you need to pay your own pension, you need to pay your own health insurance, which gets very, very expensive if you work full-time job or even part-time job. So basically, if you're hired as an employee, then the company pays half-half. And I really prefer in that matter the full-time job of being employed in Germany as opposed to being a freelance in Germany. That's just my take on that. Thanks for the tip. My only problem is I try to learn multiple languages at once, and at the end, when I build project, I'm lost. Yeah, but why do you try to learn several languages at once? What's driving you to do that? Thanks for sharing your experience. Sure, I hope it was helpful even for a little bit. Hack says, I noticed that you rely on ReactJS. What makes you use ReactJS and not Vue.js or Angular? So ReactJS is something that I use daily. So I have the most experience with it. And I figured that since it's also very popular, many people want to have projects with ReactJS on their portfolios. And for beginners especially, when you just start out, you just choose whatever is going to give you a job, right? And ReactJS is most likely the thing that is going to give you a job. Even though I would love to see more Vue developers. I personally started coding in Vue.js, and I really, really, really love Vue.js. I just find it that it's way more simple. Even though I haven't touched Vue.js code for 2 years now. But yeah. ReactJS, though, I must admit, I didn't like ReactJS back then. Especially when it was the older version of React. I was like, hell no. But since the update, since they added hooks, I think I say that in every stream, we got to a good point in our relationship with React, and I kind of like it-ish, I'm not entirely set on it, but I understand it. We start we don't fight anymore. Let's put it like that. But I still don't, what I really like about Vue.js is that it's very simple, very upfront, and the documentation is the most simple. You will not get any more simple documentation than Vue.js documentation in this whole frameworks realm. React.js documentation, on the other hand, we're still waiting for it to be better, because I think the framework has a lot to offer, but if you don't tell us how to use it, what's the point? So yeah. Angular, I haven't tried ever, so, and I don't think I will try. It just doesn't really interest me. But that's just my take on that. What's the font you're using in the Visual Studio Code? Let's see. Input Mono. That's the font family. The new React documentation is in beta already. Haven't checked it, but I know that they were working on it. Is it? Let's check it out. React docs. I remember there was a survey they sent around. I had a lot to say there. So let's check, for example. Get started. Yes, you can find it. Oh yeah, it was a Hacker News. Wait, what am I looking for? I want to see something with like use callback. Use callback doesn't let me sleep at night. So we'll return a memoized version of the callback that only changes if one of the dependency has changed. This is useful when passing callbacks to optimize child components that rely on reference equality to prevent them. See, like this is where you lose me. Rely on reference equality to prevent. I'm not viewing the new one? Where are the new ones? Oh, there it is. Interesting. So, maybe they still don't have it. But let's go, use state. Yeah, I think now I'm using the new one. Oh, okay, that's... Yes, code examples. Yes. Use the reducer. Freaking yes, this is all we wanted. You learn. Choosing a state structure. Yo, this is like super nice. Alrighty. Oh, and that's a nice example actually. Gotcha. If your state variable is an object, remember that you can't update only one field in it without explicitly copying the other fields. Super nice. Okay. I gotta read that in my spare time or during work time tomorrow. Very nice. I'm actually needing to a little bit slow down at work because I've been too fast and I'm causing like a bottleneck. So I can read that, right? Okay. Wait, Faisal is saying, I don't know, my heart says you have to know everything, but my brain not supporting. Actually, my problem is I compare myself to other programmers. That's why I try to learn multiple languages. Yep, I understand that. And there's a lot of like stereotypes that you have to learn several languages because otherwise, you know, you're not a real developer or a real programmer. But this is all bullshit, okay? This is pure bullshit, and we need to keep reminding ourselves that it's bullshit because it's very easy to kind of like fall into this trap. Because really, also, it's much better to, I wouldn't say master, but to understand very well one language, and then if you really need, you can move on to another language. But if you really need. So think of it from a perspective. So I don't know your level or your situation, if you're like starting and trying to find a job, or you're already on the job, or if you even need a job, I don't know. But so when I started coding, I wouldn't say that this is what drove me, right? But let's say a person who just started to learn coding, they need to choose a language. So let's say they decided to go with front-end development or web development. Focus on JavaScript. Like, you don't need to look at Python. You don't need to look at Java. You don't need to look at Go or whatever it is. Focus on JavaScript. Get to know the concept. Find if JavaScript is going to give you jobs in your area or in the area that you want to apply for jobs. If JavaScript, web development is pretty common in many places. Oh, but there is another thing, PHP, right? I know there are some regions in some countries where PHP is very, very, very in demand. Go for PHP then. It doesn't really matter. If your goal is to learn programming and to get a job, find whatever is there, learn one language very well, or like to understand the base of it, and then the principle of thinking about code, you will be able to apply it on any other language. You know, it's like the if statements, the for loops, the declaration of variables, the scoping of variables. Those are all concepts that are common throughout all the languages. So nail that and then go forward. Because it's like with frameworks, you know, you can never chase enough of all of them in order to know all of them. Like, you will never know all of them. That's just like the reality of it. And if you're being driven by like comparing yourself to somebody else, then you will not be very rewarded, I think, after you did spend all this time and your brain is exhausted. It's like you need to find your reason why you want to learn those languages, which can be still valid to know several languages and learn them. But maybe it will be easier if it would come from another place, you know? Like, let's say that your dream job or your dream company, which is again questionable if you should have one, but let's say you have one, they're using JavaScript and Java. And the entry level, you have to know JavaScript and Java. Then that's a goal and that's understandable. But don't put yourself in this, like, it's not gonna, at least in my personal opinion experience, it doesn't give you any reward once you're there and you're just like, oh, okay, so that was for what? You know? Sure, you have the knowledge, but I'm sure that it's also gonna be rewarding if you follow your own path and go with it. One language learner, you know, to another. Do you have experience with low-level languages like assembly, C, C++, Rust? Nope, I don't have any experience with those. I did win, though, a giveaway, a Raspberry Pi, which I don't know in which language it codes. Like, which... Is it R? No. Anyway, I won it, and I should be receiving it very soon. And I'm very excited to do something with it. But we'll see. Yeah. But anyway, I don't know any other language than JavaScript. So at work we have some Java code, which is kind of like, you know, when my colleague sends me like screenshots of the Java code to tell me what comes from, like if we have a discussion about something, then you understand it, you know, and if not, then you just Google it quick about like how they declare types, and then you kind of like still get the gist. So I think the core comes from understanding one language first. That's my 2 cents on that topic. But these React docs are pretty dope. So because if we compare, so you see how many like use state, we have here. Thank you so much. You opened my eyes. I'll try to change my routine. Yay! I wish you all the best with that. And be easy on yourself. Learning how to code and learning languages is hard. So, one step at a time. We have whole life ahead of us. How many years we have each, or days or minutes or whatever we count them in, to learn, right? What's your stream timing? I'm new, so I don't know the timings. So I recently changed to Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Central European time. So I'm in Berlin time zone, Germany. And I stream for, I don't know, 2-3 hours, something like that. Although next Tuesday, I'm having a poll when I should stream, Monday or Wednesday, because I cannot stream on Tuesday. It looks like so far it's gonna be Monday, which is gonna be fun. But yeah, I used to stream every day, but I think that was like an overkill for everybody. So now I do only two days a week. Maybe I'm gonna do 3 days a week once. We'll see. But I think 2 days a week is fine for everybody to kind of like catch up on the projects, catch up on life, because, you know, not everybody has the time always to sit in front of the computer, right? Every evening, myself included. hard to even imagine that I have other things to do, but yeah. Like yesterday, for example, I took a sick leave from work because I really needed. I was feeling like getting something, and I usually like to take a sick leave before it knocks me down. You know, did wonders. And also was nice that I didn't need like to cancel the stream. So it's nothing, but you know, still plays a role. So anyway, what I was saying is that if we compare this documentation, so let's go to React docs. These ones. If we go to use state, that's it. Look, this is everything. Can you? This is everything we have about it. And then a little bit more. And now, look at all of that, what we have. It's massive. So much better. Plus, like those little examples. I think Vue.js has them too, and it's like bomb. Like, amazing. I love that. Good on React developers for writing these docs. Very good. So you see, this is my relationship with React. It evolves step by step. We're getting there. We're getting into like, we're getting closer with each other. So, in my opinion, programming is theories, but programming languages are just tools. Yeah, that's a good way to put that. You know, like, that's a very sophisticated way to put it. I put it in a very like, coding is stuck into a computer, learn that. But yeah, I agree. It's a lot about the principle and the way of thinking, like the logical thinking, and to kind of like rewiring your brain to understand that, hey, now I'm talking to a computer and it doesn't have like, I don't know, emotional intelligence. Sorry, computer. We're still good friends. But yeah, it's not, it cannot read between the lines. Let's put it like that, you know, so it's, yeah, you just need to learn how to talk to it. And that's, I guess, the theory part. What do you do for physical fitness? I mean, how you manage your day? It comes and goes, really. By 6 o'clock in the evening, I have already done my work, my stuff that I need to do with life and dinner. So that's why usually I have time to stream. I have like a machine here in the house. Do some strength training. But actually, so today I did work out for the first time after my surgery. So that was nice. I did a little tiny workout, but it's always nice to move your muscles here and there, because otherwise it's too much sitting all the time. But I actually also have like a standing desk, so I don't sit only all the time, also stand all the time. Yeah, and when the weather is nice, which is probably not gonna be nice for another half a year, I have like a walk with my partner. I'm good in ReactJS or JavaScript, but I don't get CSS. Why? What should I do to learn CSS? Do you know what you don't get in CSS? Like, what's the concept that you're struggling with, or is it just doesn't make sense to you, or maybe a framework that you're using is not clear, or what are you struggling with CSS? Because there are different, like, I don't get stuff, you know? So I'm wondering. But I guess in general, the best way to learn something is to use like vanilla CSS, do like a clone UI, for example, to try and see how you can achieve whatever websites have by yourself with CSS. Also, what I like to do, and I think I use that in my clone UI videos. I have a clone UI videos actually on my channel. You can check those out. I did Netflix clone UI. I did YouTube clone UI. So, did I do something else? No, I think I have those two. Maybe I have another one. I don't remember. But yeah, it's a lot about kind of like learning from the others. To learn CSS Flexbox, play Flexbox Froggy. Yeah, Froggy is nice, but that's just like one part, right? That's like CSS Flexbox. I think Abhishek means like a little bit of more generic. Mostly during projects, I prefer Material UI or Tailwind CSS. But that's fine. You know, it doesn't mean that you cannot use the frameworks or the libraries that CSS offers. Not CSS, like others offer for CSS. But if you are struggling with CSS, then I would suggest you to use plain CSS to try and understand how things work. It's libraries like Material UI and Tailwind CSS are awesome because you don't need to constantly type the same thing again and again and again. You can just use whatever the library gives you, but you should still understand why you're using one thing over another, you know, and that's, I think, where the core of CSS needs to come from. That's where you learn the core CSS, not where it needs to come from. So yeah, I wanted to show something. Well, I can actually show here probably. So what I usually do is I go to a website, and if I see something like, wow, how did they do that? I inspect it. I go to the navbar of reactjs.org, and I'm interested in how did they get this bar under? How did they do that? So you take this little arrow, you go here, you click on it, and you start exploring. You're like, okay, there is enough, which has Flexbox. I know it because I see like the purple thing is already like, you know that. Then you have a class. And surely the class is not going to tell you much, but you can see here what is applying. So they have a position relative, which probably helps with that line. You see, you can also move and remove. Then you can check, they have the docs, and then there is another span, and here's the span, and here the span has those things. So you see, like, bit by bit, explore the pages that you're interested in, see how they're doing stuff, and just learn from them, because I think that's the best way to see what's like the industry standard, how other people are doing what. And sometimes it can be just like, even if you have been coding for ages already, most likely you have your habits, you have your weapon of choice or hero of choice, and you kind of like fall short on keeping up with the industry. So checking how others are doing that is a great way to also expand your horizons on specific tech. So I do that sometimes. Oh, I did it in, where was that? Okay, let me show you. That's a project I did with my partner. Learn by ear dot. And you'll see you see those things? Really cool, right? These ones I got also as an inspiration from a website that I saw, and I tried to check how they did it. I didn't really find it out, but then I started Googling. Eventually I found out that they're using a library for that. You get the gist. And then I also have the Ultimate API Challenge, which is my project. And also this thing, kind of like I saw somewhere with a logo that a company did. So I really wanted to replicate that as well. So that's how things work, you know? That's how I get things from there. So, by the way, if you're searching for some projects, look at all the challenges that you have here. Alrighty. Enough for this. So yeah, bottom line, inspector, elements, console, computed can also be very nice, but that's more for your own project. But anyway, just be curious, try and figure things out. Be like a little detective. I always say that coding is kind of like being a detective. You really need to figure out how to do things, where did the bugs come from, where did the crime happen, you know? All right. So we agree that the old docs suck, the new docs have hope. So I'm gonna pin that, and I'm gonna watch that later. Can you show your project structure? I mean, how you organize your file inside a React project folder? Yeah, so it's actually, I use the same structure throughout my whole project. So here, for example, can I close all of them? No. Okay, so let's look at that. Usually it has any React project, or any project for that matter. Don't look at this. We are looking at the code along folder. Has a package.json, has some config files, and it has an app.js, where it's like the entry point of your application. So then you can, or you don't have to, you can have a structure for pages which refer to every route. If you have several routes, because sometimes your application doesn't have several routes. So I like to split it into that. So for example, in our home, I put all the components that we have. Then in our product, I fetch some data and then give it to the components, which again, those components, so now it's not components, now it's just HTML. They're gonna move to their own components, because this is, I don't think this needs to be done this way on a page level. Oh, thank you, Abdelaila Fatuki. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but thanks for the subscribe. So I like to keep my layouts. Pages is kind of like layouts in a way. Structure. And then we also have components, and that's what I use in pages. So the components consist of all the components, and usually inside of the components folder, per component I have their own folder. Has an index.js, which you have import export. Then you have the component itself, and you also have some CSS, which in here we don't, but we're probably still gonna need it soon. Why I have an index file is because you see how I do an import here? If I would not have an index file, well, let me show you where I use the footer. If I would not have an index file, here using the footer, I would need to do import footer component slash footer slash footer. You see, here's the file. But because I have the index.js file, then I can just do it like that. So it helps like to avoid all the repetition. What else? Some people also split it further, like components, I don't know, homepage, components, blah. But I don't really agree with that structure because look at our example for example. So on our homepage, we have this component that we called benefits. And we're also using this component in our product page. So here it is, you know? That's why splitting things per page kind of, in my opinion, kills the whole idea of components, because you need them to be reusable. So you kind of like create them once, and or you feed them data, or they're like static like this one with like static information. So I don't know. I don't really agree with like not reusing the components. In my opinion, that's like the whole beauty of them. And then I also have some data where I put data, like we have footer links. So I just decided to put here some hard-coded data for now. And last but not least, hooks. That's all of our custom hooks. Sometimes you would also have a utils folder and a state folder where you would have all the kind of like boilerplate code for having Redux store or having the use reducer, not the use reducer, the context API setup. And in the utils, you would have repetitive functions. For example, we had it somewhere. Where did we have it? Did we get it? No, we got it in some hook. Wait, where was it? Here. So for example, we have a get random. I think once we do the get random also in another page, it will make sense to make this function more generic, and it will move to the utils folder that we're gonna create. That's kind of like the structure that I like to have. And so far it worked for every project. Also at work, more or less. I'm not a front end, but my opinion is that using Sass is better than Tailwind CSS or Bootstrap because it fills the page with classes. This is just opinion. So it's not that Sass is... So Sass and CSS are the same in that regard. You can write like their own files and write CSS there. But actually with Tailwind CSS, you can do the same. You can also have a CSS or like a styling folder, not folder, file, where you can put all the Tailwind classes and then just have one class that you apply to the component, to like to the HTML. So yeah, but I do agree that at some point it probably gets a little bit too cluttered in terms of like you want to understand the JavaScript and the HTML and what's in there rather than getting the styling. So for example, here, there's a lot of class names, right? And it starts getting a little bit like, ugh, like here. But I think that's also a point where when it gets too messy, maybe it's time to move it to its own component, you know? And also what I like about React, yes, this part I like, is the hooks. So if we would have here, so use get product, if we would have had this in here, then that would be so freaking annoying. It would be like so cluttered in general that it would make very hard to read something, and if you have several teams collaborating on the project, then chances are that you're going to have merge conflicts eventually. So splitting it further to smaller components, splitting it into hooks whenever you have JavaScript that you don't need to have in the component, I personally really like. Again, that's just my 2 cents about it. And I think, for example, in Vue.js or React.js, you have very different folder structure. So I think in Vue.js, well, I don't remember, so I cannot say much. But I remember it was different. Like in Vue.js, you don't have you have everything in one place. Like you define the styles in the same file, you define the template, the JavaScript, and everything related in the same file. So you don't need to have a folder for your component. And you can also further split the components, and they have a better importing of the components. So structure is different. But for React, that's what I use. And since we said that we're gonna split to further components, then we're gonna start doing it after an hour of talking. Welcome to the stream where you code along and talk along. You have any plans in future to launch a React course? No, I don't really. So far, I don't know. I enjoy the code along stuff. I have the Ultimate API challenge, which I plan to continue, adding some more challenges there. So yeah, I don't have any plan for a React course. And I think there are plenty of people with React courses, but I'm just watch my YouTube videos. You know, it's okay like this for now, at least. I don't know. If there would be a course, I would probably do a Vue.js course, because that would be like a cool thing to do. But no plan so far. So, what time is it? Okay. Let's have a 5-minute break so I can put my airdrops, and I'll see you here at 7:15 or whatever time it is at your place in 5 minutes. Okay? Be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. So, I'll watch all your videos and try to follow along and learn something new. Oh, thank you so much, Faisal. I really appreciate it. And I hope I can help you somehow by watching my videos. Abhishek is asking, is DSA mandatory for front-end developers? DSA is data structure algorithms, right? Did I answer that question? Look, there's a hot topic. It's like a major discussion. Many companies are asking for it during the interviews. Honestly, during my daily job, and I have been working over a bit more than 3 years, almost like 3.5 years as a web developer, I have never used that, you know? I don't know, maybe I don't know how to use them. Maybe I use them but I don't recognize them. But what would be like a very like basic example? Data structure algorithms. JS. What would be like an example? So I heard about the thing stack. I honestly cannot even think about like an example of like a daily life when this would be used. Maybe if you're using like specific libraries or some specific frameworks that you have to use those things. So let's see. I don't know. Where's the basic data structure? So like this stuff, yeah, I think that would be good for you to know. Like free code camp stuff, basic data structure, just as a general JavaScript knowledge. But I never viewed it as a data structure algorithms. Catch off by one errors when using indexing. I mean, so I think this is the JavaScript algorithms. This is not data structure, right? Here, basic data structure. So remove items from an array with pop and shift. Is it data structure? In my opinion, this is JavaScript method knowledge. What else do we have? Iterate through all and arrays items using loops. I mean, can we agree here that this is like basic JavaScript stuff? I don't know, guys. I don't know. Add key value pairs to JavaScript objects. I'm really struggling to understand what's the data structure algorithm thingy here. Or maybe I'm just thinking like much more, you know, deep into the topic and it's actually very simple. Could be. Won't deny it. I do have around 1 year of experience as a front-end developer, but I don't think I have ever used DCA in my job. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like So, I think we have all heard about those like very, very high maintenance Amazon, Google, what else is out there? Probably Amazon and Google are like, probably Facebook as well, or Meta. Entry level, not entry level, sorry, like first coding tasks, right? I've seen them with my own eyes. You close them and you leave. No, don't take my advice, but that's what I do. If I see somebody is doing like, I don't know, like asking me to do, so there was, how to say it? Well, I didn't sign any NDAs, right? And I think everybody knows those things. So there was one task where you had like tickets, and I think this stuff, they're like common in like lead code and stuff like that. So a task, you have, let's say, 20 tickets, transportation tickets. You need to sort them by the cheapest one that you can ride with only on Tuesday, because 10 of them are Thursdays, 5 of them are like Wednesdays. You know, you get the gist? This kind of like ideas. When will I ever do that in front-end web development? Never. Like, I seriously, unless your company is very, very, very specific to ticket selling in public transportation, and even then, as a front-end developer, I don't think you do that. So, if you want to advance your knowledge, go for it. I personally don't really like that part. It doesn't give me like any brain satisfaction. So, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of doing them, and I wouldn't require anybody to know it in order to hire them for a job. Like, I'm doing interviews for the company that I work in. That's not a criteria for me at all. You know? Hack is saying it is necessary to solve problems. Companies pay only for it. But what problems are you being paid to solve? That's the thing. Like, are you being paid to solve? So, let's say you do know those DSA things, and then you're hired to do landing pages. See, there's like a mismatch between the requirement and the actual job. You can still know how to Google, you can still know how to find CSS solutions and everything without getting into the DSA. That's what I don't understand. Why do you need to have it as a requirement if the job doesn't require it? Yeah, I think DSA is for competitive programming, but not for development, in my opinion. Yeah, that sounds, and I think that's kind of like the state where it's at, especially for web dev. I think this is just to kind of like sort out people who can get into like higher echelon companies, you know, but because they need to sort by something, you know. But then again, those DSA things is just a matter of like sitting, grinding, and getting them, you know. So yeah, I don't know. But the free code camp thingy, I think this is a good knowledge in general about like JavaScript, arrays, methods, and stuff, you know. But I don't think that this is the DSA that, you know, gets you places. Let's put it like that. But that's my opinion. I don't know. So I wanted to split components, but you keep chatting in the chat. I'm gonna keep talking. I'm just gonna be splitting some components here. I'm happy to see that there are so many people who are like engaging and talking and asking questions. That's what I miss about the stream. So we have the product title, which is this one. Then we have this whole thing. And that's where we gonna be, this one is gonna be product preview. So let me create the folder. Did we really do just SCSS? We didn't do module CSS? Yeah, it looks like. Okay. Let me check my description. What did I write? Okay. Maybe we don't have much CSS because we're using the Tailwind stuff. Anyway, let's have it just in case we'll need it. So, product preview. Copy this and import PQRST. Product preview. This goes first. Alphabetic order suddenly. LMNOPQR. Yeah, PR. Okay. Could also just like sort it with the help of Visual Studio Code, but you know, decided to show off my alphabetical skills. So now this whole chunk, can I copy it like this? No. Okay. So this until here, cut it out, paste it. Ba-dum bum. Awesome. So, oh, product price is moving in here. So let's move it. Product price, come here. You belong right here, buddy. Product preview though is gonna be in here. Yep. And this to do is also gonna move into product preview. Yeah, actually here. Okay, we're missing single product. So we did import product price, and a single product we're using image, name again, product type, price, category or category, and description. Okay, so we could pass the whole single product down, or we could actually pass the bits that we need. And I think that's what I would prefer. Let's pass only what we need. So we need the name, we need the image, we need the type, category, price, and description. And now we copy these and we go back to our product and we paste it here. We put it like on their own lines. Like this. And then like that, single product dot name. I put this under. So then we want API featured image. Type is going to be product type. Category or category is going to be this. Price is price, right? Yeah. And description is also description. Save it. Can't resolve component product price. Right, because we're not in components. So the product page is in pages. That's why we had to have another import, but now it's here. Yeah, and now single product is not defined, which is correct, because now we're passing these like these as props, and we gave them their own name. So single product dot API featured image becomes image. Single product dot name becomes name. Becomes type. Again, name, category, price and description, right? Yep. Save it. Single product name. Did I miss it somewhere? Where in single product is not defined in product preview. But I replaced it. What are you talking about? What did I do? Do you see it? Category, price. I don't have a single product anymore. So, refresh. Sometimes you just need to refresh it and it's gonna work again. Okay. So we said we are gonna use prop types. So let's do that. I think we need to install something. Prop types React. Yes, so it moved to its own library. And we're gonna do this. I have my terminal in another screen, but what I'm doing is just I copied the npm install, I pasted in the repository of the code along, and it's gonna install now. It's gonna take a little while. So it used to be its own thing in React, but then it moved to a separate library. Yeah, they even have like a automation for that. So how it's being used is that you need to import it, then you have your component, and then at the bottom of the component you define the prop types, and that's the syntax. So greeting is the name of the component, you define the prop types, you open curly brackets, and then you define which props you expect to have, and you need to say which type they are, of which type, and then you can also use is required. So here you have a bigger overview. So there, array, boolean, function, number, object, string, symbol. It could be a node, an element, element type. Really, the possibilities are endless, sort of. You can also shape objects. So for example, if we would have passed a whole single product, then we would have done single product, and we would create the shape of the single product that we're passing, which sometimes can be tedious. And then you have is required. So if in case it has installed successfully. So in case that let's assume you're using the product preview component in different places, and it is required to pass on the name, but in some place you forgot to pass on the name. So what do you do? It's gonna give you an error, and I actually get errors now. Why? Unhandled promise rejection, cannot find module Tailwind CSS. Excuse me? Oh no, why do you do this to me? So I installed prop types, and now it tells me that it cannot find Tailwind CSS. But here it is. not. So let me show you what I'm getting. I'm getting this error now. So you see I installed the npm thingy, and now I get unhandled promise rejection. I really don't like when it starts doing this kind of stuff, because so it's part of this Krakow thing. Was that just like an issue? No, it's not. Let's try remove -ref node modules. I'm gonna clean up the node modules and see maybe there's like an issue there and they just need like a tiny update. Let's remove the package lock JSON, because you don't remove the package JSON. The package lock JSON you can remove, because this one is generated. I don't know if you just heard my neighbors are like doing again some stuff. So npm install. Let's see. This is the funny part when you're trying to estimate the project, how long it takes you, and then suddenly you get like this kind of errors and you're just like, great, really great. I don't know if you hear any noise from my neighbors. That's gonna be fun. All right, now npm run start. Yay! Awesome. So you see, sometimes it is just like remove node modules, remove the package lock JSON, because you see it has been generated again, this package lock. So package lock you can remove, package JSON you cannot remove. You should not. You really should not. So what's happening here, Wally? Where are my top products? Is my internet all right? Oh no, I have errors. I've been blocked? No. Yeah, okay, fine. These other warnings are fine. You didn't see them. They're just like about the SVGs that we imported. We can fix that another time. They're okay. They can stay there for a little bit. Anyhow, we said prop types. So let's get back to type checking. How did it do it here? So we need to import prop types from prop types. We can move this one back up here. And let's go. So we have the prop types, copy it, go to the bottom, and you do product preview.prop types. And we open, sorry, it's with a lowercase. And in here, we're going to define all of our stuff. So yeah, what I was saying before is that if we put a required on one of those things, it's gonna, if we use is required on one of these props, and at some point when we're using the component, we're not passing the prop, then we're gonna get an error in the console. So that's a good way to to tell us that, hey, you actually forgot this thing, and maybe that's why it breaks, or further it can break, you know? So it's a good thing to have. And then you write prop types dot string dot is required. And then an image, it's also a string. Type is a string, category, string, everything's a string. Yep, very good. If, for example, a name would not be required, it is recommended to have default props. So, for example, you would write product preview dot default props. Why doesn't like it? And the name would be blah. So let's say I'm not passing the name here, just gonna comment it, and I'm gonna go here and see the name that is used is my default prop. So this is actually helpful in case, for example, if let's say you have a gallery of images and you're not sure if you're gonna have any, or if let's say you have an icon that you're fetching from an API, but you're not sure that the icon is gonna be there. So you can add like a fallback string for the URL of your icon as an example, you know, or just like if, for example, we don't have a price, if we don't pass any price, so our default price is gonna be 0, you know, and that's kind of like where you would define those things. And I think that's where TypeScript is used as well, right? But again, I'm still figuring TypeScript out, so I'm not gonna go there. So just so you know, that's how you do it. We're gonna keep the name required. I'm gonna bring that back. Yep. Alrighty. So, I'm thinking that we should further split this thing. For example, the product image could be split. Or maybe not, maybe that's enough. You see, I love keeping on like splitting. But it's not always necessary. Like, for example, this button of add to basket can definitely be its own component, because this one we're reusing. I'm actually surprised we still don't have this button. Don't we? Button link we have, which is... What is the button link? Button link is a path. I think it's on the main page we have it. This one is a button link. Okay, we need a button add to cart. Cart button. Cart. When you speak so much, you forget how to pronounce things. Cart button. Let's go. And why I'm adding the card button, because I think if I look a little bit into the future, then we are going to create its own functionality with the card button, because it will need to add to our state. It will need to have like the plus and the minus and its own like functionalities, and that should live in its own component, you know, like, let's say, so let's go back here, and if we check the design, where is it? Oh, it's at the bottom, I think. Here, you see? Oh, wait. Well, that's fine. We could actually add like a plus and a minus here. Or maybe not. I don't know. Okay, no, screw it. We're gonna keep it as a card button for now. But anyway, let's say this like functionality is tied to each other. Imagine that this is the same button, okay? That we have like the plus and the minus on the add to basket. And because we can actually do it like that, you know, we could do it in a way that we have here a minus and a plus, and then here it has the number. So like, oh, you know what we could do? We could have like an add to basket, and as soon as you click on add to basket, we could actually do like the plus thing is or the minus thing is. That can be a good thing. So anyway, imagine the plus and the minus thing is, those are functions, right? Like add or like an increment or how to say decrement? Decrease? See, I told you, English is getting hard by the end of the day. Those are all functions, and you would do it in this component because you don't want to do it like in another component, because this component is going to be talking to the state, which is going to be then adding it to... Why my arrow doesn't get bigger? To this part, you know, to the basket. So anywhere where we would like to add this add to basket, we would just need to plug it into it, and the whole functionality is there. And I think we're gonna have it, for example, here. We could have it as a just as a basket, and people could click on it, and it automatically goes to our basket. And again, the UI doesn't change much. Is my internet working well? Are we good? Are we back? So the UI doesn't change much, but the functionality behind it stays the same. So the UI will change actually. So a little bit, right? Like instead of an icon, it's gonna be like a button. So it's better to keep it isolated in its own like card button. That was my point. Hi Asma, how are you? Happy to see you here. Oh, Sachin is asking, Sahin, right? Are you using styled components or CSS modules? Well, I actually thought that I'm using CSS modules, but apparently I'm not. I'm not a fan of style components, so, you know, not using those. I don't really like the concept of JS and CSS. It didn't grow on me. Sorry, CSS and JS. I don't know, like I'm trying to unload all the like stuff inside of a component, and then like it keeps on being added. I'm not sure. I am 103 minutes late. No, it's all good. We're still here. Axios JS, our request slip for JavaScript. So Axios is a library for JavaScript, yes, to make API calls. It's like a wrapper on top of it. Which is pretty good to use because it gives you it handles like the data fetching in a way that you don't need to do like data.data.data or response.stuff. I think, or does it? Yeah, anyway, it's a wrapper, it's interesting sometimes. Oh, so the difference, for example, between fetch, I don't know if you knew it, but fetch, if I'm not mistaken, if you're doing a GET request and you're getting a 404 back, it's not gonna error. Like I think it doesn't register as an error. It's like, yep, request went through, we got an answer, that's it. But a 404 is actually an error, and you want to be able to, I don't know, sometimes you don't want to build a whole interface on top of your fetch to kind of like check if something is an error, right? You just want to have a try, catch, error, whatever, finally, and all these kind of like shebangs there that they just need to work out of the box. But there are those things with fetch, for example, that are not working as you'd expect, and you need to be careful about the caveats there. So Axios it is. Actually, speaking of, In my ultimate API challenge, which I showed, let me show you again, this one, I made this challenge to, there we go, building a portfolio as a web developer. I'm very happy, right? The goal of the challenge was to use different wrappers of HTTP requests. So in some I use fetch, XML HTTP request, like the real deal. Then I have the get JSON from jQuery. I have super agent, Axios, Ajax from jQuery. Then GraphQL and Apollo is here as well, and another Axios project. So, you know, you can use many of them, and there are still some others, but I try like to find like the most popular ones. Those ones were the things. And I'm thinking of doing another one, but I still didn't decide in which tech it's gonna be. I'm still figuring it out. But I think something like game, like an interactive game of something. I know that's like the biggest description in the world, but I guess I'll just have to wait, just like me, because I still don't know. So yeah, if you want to practice your fetching skills and getting data, putting data into your user interface, then I have the website for you. I have what, 6, 7, 8 challenges where you can code along. I have let me show you one. So this is like the beginner. This is like the very first one. You go there. I have an intro, preview, challenge links, useful resources, hints, and API source. So I tell you a little bit what it's about. Then this is like how it looks like, the end result. There's a video, of course. There's GitHub files, YouTube video. There's general info. Then you also have useful resources that you can read before doing the challenge. So, you know, you're a little bit more prepared, and you have hints here in case you are doing it by yourself because you wanted to challenge yourself, right? So I have hints for you for like the things that I could foresee where you might get stuck the most. So yeah, it's encouraging you or to do a code along or to do it by yourself. I give you all the resources. I give you all the files that you need. Just do it. So yeah, look how happy I am. UltimateAPIChallenge.com. Check it out. Back to our Welly project. So HTTP request code 200. Also, we can't use fetch on the backend if I'm not wrong. Can't you? I'm not sure. I'm trying to think. The last time I wrote something in the backend was over 2.5 years ago. I don't remember. Why wouldn't you be able to use fetch in the backend? JSON response code 404, yeah. So, where was it? Card button. We need to use node fetch. Oh, because of this, like, specific things of fetch? Because I would assume... I'm confused right now. I really cannot remember how I did it. Because it's a web API. Right. Okay. That makes sense. You are right. So I wanted to move the product preview, this one, to the card button. Oh, I didn't do this. There we go. I forgot to import export it. Cool. So we have that. What else do we want? See, this could be like its own separate category component. Because it's here, you know, it's in this zone, and here the design also had like the plus and the minus thing. We'll get there one day, but that could have been a potential like move it to the side thingy. Like basket thing? I don't know. Hey Donna, what up? Hey Jordan. Oh, all good. How are you? Yeah, I'm not gonna move it now. It's fine. Right? It's fine. Why do I have is large here? What did I do that is not large? This is the small. Product price, let's go here. Oh yeah, the text is smaller, bigger. All right, fine. So, we wanted to do a little bit of responsive design, right? I'm doing good. Glad to see you on YouTube again. Yay! I'm also happy to be back. I'm also taking a poll when to stream next because, you know, it's not going to be next Tuesday. So I need to do on Monday or Wednesday. I miss coding along with you. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet of you to say. We're back. We're totally back. Oh. Something else that we could do. So you see how we have here type.replace, and here we also have description.replace. So sometimes if you have like maybe a little bit more things going on and you don't want to, what do I mean by more things going on? If you have a little bit more functionality involved in preparing your description, for example, for the template, you don't want to do it in the template itself. I gotta go to class though, but I'll watch this later. Happy coding. Okay, have a good one. See ya. Thanks for stopping by. So you don't want to do this in the template. I mean, you could, but why would you? So what I usually do, I take this thing out, and I do const get description, not get description, format description. And what it does this. And where was it? It was here. Right? There we go. You actually don't have it to put it as a function, I guess. You could just do it like this. Yeah, in this case you can do it like that, I think. Let's check another one. Yeah. The reason why sometimes I do it with a function, because sometimes the data that we get so not in React components, this is like a blast from the past for me. That on the time of compiling the page, the data was not there. So you want to check or get the formatted description only once your code gets to the template. You know, if that's too much, I completely understand it. Ignore it for now. This is nothing crucial that you need to know for this component. But just know that sometimes, if, for example, description is still not available, and for some reason your component already loads, then you might want to use it as a function, because then it's not being created here, but it's being created once the code reaches this. Okay, so just know that there are some moments where you might need to use that. But again, if that's too much to understand right now, I completely get it. So we're moving on. Let's also do the same with the type. Cons format type equals this, and then we use that here. So in this way, it's a little bit nicer that eventually, like in the template, you're using only, you know, very specific variables. Let me get a candy because my throat is acting up again. You could actually do also the same with images. Like, that's our image URL. And then in here, we could just use image URL. But like, this didn't bother me much. This bothered me more. And you can actually be more descriptive in what you're formatting, because, you know, regular people don't keep regular expressions in their minds. So it would be nice if you describe what you actually did here with the regular expressions. So for example, remove underscores type, or remove HTML description. Very, very, very bad naming. That's why I'm not gonna change it to that. But you get the point. Like, for the first one, you could guess, right? With some intelligence, you could figure out that you're removing underscores here. Let's put it like that. But in here, my intelligence would be challenged. So if I would see this, I would be like, what the hell is that? And why did nobody write what it was about? You could also leave a comment, actually, instead of just like changing the naming. But as you want. Everybody has their own ways. As long as you make it clear to the person that comes after you what you did there and why, maybe not why, but what, then that would be already a good thing. Okay, so I'll keep it as it is right now. And let's maybe do some responsive stuff. And I'm thinking where to start, actually. I'm not sure. I mean, our footer is clearly crying, but I don't think the footer is of importance at the moment. So let's work with this thing. We have a flex, and I put a comment here, check if columns make more sense for a better image display. And I think it might be not only for image display, but like in general, you know, sorry that I did this. That must have been disgusting for some people, but my eye drops are drying inside my eye, so I need to like unplug them. Yeah, not really sure. So what do you think? Should we use columns or should we just figure it out with flex? For that, maybe we should check what Tailwind has to offer when it comes to flex. Because for example, so right now it's just flex, right? So we have a div for this and a div for this chunk. And once you add a flex, then they're just like next to each other. But what we could do is that once it has even this size of a screen, it could have a flex column, you know, so this way we could have a different layout for a different screen size. What was I? Here. So here responsive MD flex column. Let's do this. So that's the main flex, that's the main container. And we're gonna do MD flex column. No, you know what? Yes or no? Okay, let's try. It's not MD. It's like this is like layout is fine-ish. But then why don't go to flex column? Is it not how you write column? Flex col? Okay, there we go. And then we would need, so it's only for MD? No. Okay, so how the responsive, not responsive, how like the classes work is that if you define flex, then I know this from Bootstrap, so I assume that Tailwind does the same. So you define flex, and this is like the property that is going to be applied throughout the whole, you know, range of screens. But as soon as you put MD or SM or XL, whatever like limitation you have for the screen size, then it's gonna say, okay, from MD on, have this property going on. You know, so only for small, because it has like extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, I think. Might be different, but you get the point. So the smallest is extra small and small. We have just flex. And as soon as the MD size of the screen kicks in, that's when we get, boom, flex column. But we want the opposite. So we're gonna do flex column as a default, and MD is gonna be flex. And I'm gonna move it here because it's more explicit what starts in the beginning and then where it ends. No? Oh, wait a second. Because flex is the flex, and you have flex column or flex row. So what if I do flex row? Yeah. So that's correct. Okay. So we need the MD for flex row, and in here we need the flex column, right? Yes. So I was still correct, but I just was applying it to a different class. I was missing one class. Okay, like this, because I like to have like from the smaller, because that's how it works, right? It's like from the smaller to the bigger, unless you define otherwise, it's gonna be like this. So I usually define like the default classes in the beginning, and then if they are getting modified, depending on the screen size, then I add it eventually. So then like once you take a look at that, you understand the core of it, and then like, oh, okay, then it changes to this. That's how my head works. I don't know if yours the same. So I'm actually okay with the image size for those ones. Maybe not for this one though. Let's put a width. What is the width screen? I don't need this. Sorry if you hear my candy. There's no way that this is 500. This is 70. Oh, look at that, you see? The whole thing, that's the 500. What's happening here? I want margin right. Like 10 would be nice, so padding 10 and margin right 10. No, but why is like it's like this? Because probably the width needs to come from here, right? So I had a width screen. Would that apply here? Okay. What was the width screen again? I remember we used it last time, but I don't know what it is, or I don't remember. So use W screen to make an element span the entire width of the viewport. Well, that's not really happening, is it? Ooh, we have W full. We full. Not on the body. Yeah, the image is not gonna stretch bigger than the div that it's inside. So interesting. How did it decide that it's gonna be like this? So what did I do? So here's the other div, which doesn't have any classes on it. This one has only margins, like horizontal ones, sorry, vertical ones. What a weird thing. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Why is there a combination that eventually... No, this I put it. Let's check if we have like... If I were to give this div a specific width. Yeah, then that would... But still, look at this. This is not 1,000, no. What the hell is happening here? Okay, this is the time where I go to compute it and I try to understand what's what. I have this div, and that's just based on the content. That's how it looks like. Why? Good question. What if I add flex column. Would that affect it by any way? No, right? Because why would it? It didn't do anything of what I wanted. It does show a proper flex box now, so I guess we should keep that. But why are you being so weird? Oh, it's eye drops time. Okay, I see you in 5 minutes. Need to put some eye drops. Be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. And I think you have stopped hearing the music. Do you hear it now? Yeah. Cool. So, Hack says, I think using wrapping would be better. For FlexPrep, I think it serves different purposes. So I'm not sure. if you meant flex wrap, right? I'm thinking about any other wrap that is possible. And I think it's one of those things that are very obvious, but for some reason I don't see them right now. So let me for a second remove this div. What's gonna happen? Okay. And what if I remove this? And if I do just W full, so I think it is the div that is being wrapped. But look, I don't really mind it. I just wanted to understand why it's happening. Wait, what was this? Yeah, I'm actually fine with this. I would just give it a margin left of 10. Sorry, margin right. Always confusing those. And I think this one is all right. Like, I don't mind the image being small. Although I would probably do the flex row on a large. But then the image, when it's needs to be a width so we need to go like from the smallest, right? So when it's super small, I don't think you need that big of an image. Needs to be width like 20. Yeah, it can be bigger. Width 60 is fine, but what is 60? Let me understand. What did I write here? Is 15 rem. I think that's a little bit ridiculous. I like more this kind of stuff. Let's see how it looks like. Yeah, I think this is much better because then the image adjusts to the width of the screen, and then relative to that, it's gonna be 2/4. And we can do 1/3. So it was like half, but I guess we can do 2/4. I don't know why. What about 3/4? And then we can also add padding 10 as we had. Why is it not centering it? Because it needs to have this in here, right? There we go. So right now it also has the margin. So margin right is going to appear only on large. It's going to be margin right. There we go, it moved a little bit. But if I remove that, no, sorry, not this. I need to remove this. Is it going to be centered now? No, of course. Daniela, please. So it's all right. Now this needs a little bit of like padding situation, which actually maybe we don't need to add padding here. Yeah, I wouldn't, but I would add padding X, which means like on the sides of 4, like just a little bit, not to have it like super attached to the borders, but this actually should happen on a page level, because you see how how everything is like on the borders. Why is that? Can we do that? I'm gonna have a div here, right? So I want the div only for this part, and then class name is gonna have padding X of 4. Yeah, there we go. And now our whole content inside is going to have like this unified padding throughout the whole application. And I think even if we go to Wally, we still have it here. You can see it, and it doesn't work really well everywhere, is it? Because these ones, they actually should be until the end. Okay, revert. That was not a good idea because of specific differences in our design. So we're gonna add it page by page. Do they have something like a container? Because it would be easier if we can add just like a wrapper container that has those options, rather than us deciding that we need to have, oh no, you still need to add the pixel size. So the container says like the max width stuff. So let's demonstrate it. If we have here, oh, we do have a container. Never mind. So let's add the padding 4 here, padding X4. Look, that's also exactly how I want it. If you'd like to center your containers by default or include default horizontal padding, see the customization options. Oh, let's do that. Wow, there are so many things that you can do there, huh? You could probably like also have, I don't know, a generic in a container. You can have like a flex box already out of the box. Let's add this. Let's add to our containers. Where would I add it? In theme, container. I do an extend, right? But in our case, I want the 0.5 rem. So if I go here, yeah, but did I add it here? No. Did I add it in product? Yeah, I did. Oh, it's still there, you see? So 4 pixels or px4. What's a px4? Four is 1 rem. Okay. Well, then let it be 1 rem. I'm fine with that. Refreshing. There we go. Nice. Okay, I want to find another product because this one is a little bit big. That one's nice. Actually, I need a bigger one. Yeah. Smaller one can always go smaller, but if it's like super big, I'd rather limit that. So, this part, the benefits, they also need to be like, but wait a second. Let's first finish this, right? Go step by step. So I'm gonna close whatever we don't need. Product preview, that's where we're at. So what we do, we have our width, we have our large, right. So our width is 3/4 until this size, which I don't think that's not nice. I think it's way too big. So medium or some small would be 2/4. Oh, sorry, small width. See how it jumped? So initially on this type of device it's going to be 3/4 because it's extra small screen, I assume. And then once it goes to small, there we go, it's 2/4 of the screen width. And we can continue playing with it, you know. Once it's large, or sorry, once it's medium, it can be 1/4. Or maybe it's also fine to just keep it 2/4. 1/4? I think 1/4 is good. Because otherwise, do you really need to have it like been all over there? Probably not, right? Let's see, what is this picture? Yeah, this would be the maximum that I would go with. Yeah. Yeah. Cool, let's go back to our powder. Sorry, blush. A powder blush, so I was not entirely wrong. Okay. Let's now define. What are we gonna define? Paddings, margins. Okay, for now they're okay. This one's also fine. Wait, the large has margin. Oh, but that's okay because the large is gonna be flex row. Okay, so there it goes. So for the large, it can be with full. Okay, we somehow managed to change those things, which is very, very nice. So if I go here, yeah, I like this size. I think this is a good size for desktop to view products. You can have enough of an overview what's happening there. Very good. Very good. I'm happy with that. How many parts would it take to finish this project? Are you already tired of this project? I honestly don't know. I think it depends how much we want to do further with stuff, right? So like if we still need to add the state for the cart, we're doing some responsive now. 4 or 5 parts, I would say, you know, something like that. Because I don't do anything off screen. Well, I did once the footer. Maybe I can do also off screen like the about page, which is just like lorem ipsum. But I kind of also want to bring you on how long realistically it takes to create such a like simple what it looks project. It takes a while. Especially if you want to consider like responsiveness, like different sizes, different images, and you know, all the fun parts of a website. But I'm also not the best at estimating things. I admitted that today. So and I also know that I talk quite a lot on the stream, but on the other hand, I do enjoy the interaction, so you wouldn't want to watch me just code and not talk, right? Like, what's the purpose of the code along then? Okay, so I did this. Right, I'm quite happy with it. Quite. It's not much of a description, a real e-commerce. For example, let's visit famous German shop. Like, let's go to, I don't know, what do we like? This we like. You see, you have like the image, you have some stuff here, you have this description and this, then this, and then like the products, and then reviews. So in our case, we have like a very tiny page. We're like a beginner e-commerce, right? We're just starting out. We're believing in ourselves. So next, what I want to do is to make responsive these ones. So we can remove successfully this to do because columns were not the issues, or flex was not the issue. The issue was how I was using it. And now it's alright. So benefits. There we go. Benefits. Are you going to use some state management tool in this project? So I was thinking about using the Context API, or just like simple use reducer stuff, just like plain React hooks style Context API. Or did they promise that we're gonna use something like more advanced? Let me check. Yeah, I said ReactJS Context API. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna be using. And if we manage good responsive today, then we could actually do that next time, maybe? I think it's a good thing to do on Monday, right? Although might be not. Because Monday cannot stay for very late. Context API for the card system. Yeah, you think it's an overkill? Might be an overkill, right? Or we could just go with like use state for that. But the thing is that, or use reducer, right? The use state would not work because we need it to be in here and then in here and then in other places. So we do need like a central state holder. That's why I thought about the Context API. Because it's not only one component. So this is where we have all the magic. So container products data has to be accessed in a global store. Yeah. So we would probably have our product page where we fetch in the products. No, sorry. On our home. We have top products. I think once we do the search, which looks like this, that's where, which I completely forgot we also need to do. So that's not going to be 4 or 5 parts. It's going to be much more. 4 or 5 parts would have been if we just do everything without this page. But this page by itself is already like there's a lot of functionality going on in here and a lot of like heavy JavaScript things. So when add to cart button gets clicked, product get dispatched as per the ID. Yeah, but you would need Context API for that, wouldn't you? I think use reducer would not just like cut the deal for that. Like use reducer in a combination with Context API, not just with use state. At least in my opinion. What's happening to my hair? All good. So, I forgot about this part. This is the part that is gonna make me rethink our whole structure. Because I didn't want to jump ahead. But it's also fine. It's not that we created some specific structure that we have to adhere and we cannot change it. It's all moving parts. You know, like the Harry Potter staircases. Stairs room. No, not this one. These ones. Is that these ones? Anyway, I'm not gonna show it to you, but they're like moving all the time and you need to like jump to get to the right point. So back to responsive mission. We were in benefits. Okay, so we have our container here. And we need to be mindful that this part is also displayed on the homepage. But it's most likely going to be the same, right? Because responsive in any place. So flex is a flex. By the way, this information probably could come from the data folder that we have, but it's fine to keep it there. So we have container, we have flex. I love Harry Potter, yay! And we need to have a flex column initially. And then once it's medium, we can do flex row. Let's try it out. So that's medium. And there you go. Looks a little bit weird, but we're gonna fix it. So I think medium, it's all right. Yeah, cool. And now benefits item. So we need to work together with those things. Benefits item. It's this one. It should have a margin bottom of, let's say, 4. Yeah. Or 6. Or 8. Might like it more like that. Then I think text small. What about text medium? Use space Y4 in Tailwind. What's the space? Wait, what is that? What? No way. You want to tell me it's gonna calculate by itself? It's used for control of the space between child elements. Oh, no freaking way. Seriously? Wait, I need to add it to the parent though, right? No way. For real? What did I do wrong? It added only to the first child. Control the vertical space within. This is so awesome. Tailwind just got into another level for me. Seriously. This is like how to create. Oh, wait, Sadiq. What? This is like a mind blown. This is kind of like, so I got already my little system, right? When it's like when it's small, then I add like a margin bottom, and then once the screen is bigger, then the margin bottom is alright. So it's kind of like, you know, you learn to work with the flaws of CSS, and then these things arrive, and it's kind of like your whole system breaks. Like, you're happy that it breaks, that there is a solution for that now, but then it also takes a tiny pride, you know, from like, you had a system. This is actually what I felt about GraphQL, because I love working with REST APIs, although I know that there's a benefit for one over another, but still, I had my system, and now they're taking it away from me. No, but this is freaking awesome. This is, wow. I'm very excited now. Wow. I love Tailwind, it rocks with Next.js. Ooh, yeah. You can add custom values with GIT mode. I have no idea what GIT mode means. But, I mean, stop it. It's already very good. Like, spaces. Oh. Wow. See, I learned something new. Freaking hell, Tailwind. Very awesome. So the space utilities are not designed to work together with the divide utilities. What's the divide utilities? Okay, I don't use those. Didn't even know they exist. So these utilities are really just a shortcut for adding margin to all but the first item in a group, and aren't designed to handle complex cases like grids, layouts that wrap, or situations where the children are rendered in a complex custom order rather than their natural DOM order. But I don't think I have that. Like, I just have this. So I have space X4, but I want space Y. Yeah, fuck, this is so awesome. Sorry. I'm really mind blown. So let me remove from the benefits item the margin bottom, and so now they still have it, right? So I need to, I think it works, but it should be gone on medium, if I'm not wrong. Space Y is 0. Yeah, okay. So you saw it was like little staircases. So that was not what we wanted, because on bigger screens we didn't want that. But on a smaller screen now, yeah, look at this beauty! What the hell? What the freaking hell? I just can't. It's the little things. I'm shocked. thank you for letting me know about that. This is freaking awesome. I'm gonna stare at it for a little bit. It's so freaking great. Sadiq is asking how to create React project. You can read the React docs. They have a script that they offer, create React app, and that creates you a boilerplate first React project, if that's what you mean. Damn, this is so nice. So you want to tell me that I also don't need the margin left stuff? Margin right? Well, no, for this one I do need, but like if I want some space between this and this. So for example, a medium would be space x 4. This is so cool. Damn. Wow. Wow. Okay, enough. I cannot stop like being like so happy that this exists. All right. Like I think in this view it's very nice, but in this view it's a little bit like long and it's not nice. So I would like to shrink the width of it, of the whole div, like the whole parent element. Really, thank you so much for telling me this. Like this probably made my year in terms of CSS. Like this is so freaking awesome. Damn. And this is why I love this code along streams, because where else can I find this information? This is where we're like sharing everything we know. So really, thank you. JJ, is that correct? Or Ishan? Not J, GG, right? I have issues with J and G's, so I'm sorry in advance. So if I do with guys help, yeah. The impact is massive. The ripple effect of this help would be huge. I can already see it. Joshua is asking, are you learning ReactJS through projects? So mainly no. I'm here to more share my knowledge with ReactJS through projects and to help beginners or whoever wants to learn coding and React to kind of like code along. But that said, I think you never stop learning React. So yeah, in a way, I guess I'm also learning. Not I guess, I am. So I don't know what I'm doing here right now, actually. I think I need something like 3/4. Let's check this out. Okay, so that's on the main container. So let's go again. Medium is gonna be width 3/4, and then initially maybe it can be width full, medium 3/4, and then large can also be width full. Let's see how it works. Yeah, so when the screen is small, I'm absolutely fine with this. But then is that how 3/4 look like? Doesn't look like to me. Width full is applied. Interesting. Because it's only from medium, right? So what if I do small? It wasn't such a good roll. What did I do? MX auto, that's like the margin. So now it's full. This is full LG, okay. So you can know which class is being applied by checking here the first class. Because you see it also says that we have on medium something, on small something. So in case of width, we have LG and width of 100, which is being applied. And then the next width that we have is dot small something something, but you see that it has like, it's being struck through. Stroken through. So there is a, like, it's like, which means that this is not applied. And then if we keep an eye on it, now you see, what do we have? Now we have this width, 75%, is being like the first one that is applied. And I think if we check further down, if we have like, there we go, width of container is, but the LG is not even near. So why is the MD 3/4? I said small. Wait, I don't understand. What is happening? Because of margin X auto. Is it? Div gets squeezed. But the width is applying. You see, this is not a small screen. This is a medium screen, but the width is already... Is it because we don't have... I think it's because if we would have this medium like this, yeah. So I think it like falls back to the smallest screen that it has within like media queries. I guess that's how they set it up. So like the min width is, you know, even if a screen is like 640, but our screen is 700, it still applies to this min width, and that's why it chose this small thing. So we had to actually specify that on medium, because if we say small we want 3/4 and then large we want full, then for medium it's gonna get the smallest one, which is what I was actually explaining like 30 minutes ago. But okay, we forget our own words, that happens. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Cool. Is it? If we go small. Yes. Alrighty. Okay, this is a little bit too big now. But also I can like keep on going with this. This is smaller, this is bigger, this is it. And at some point we gotta We gotta choose our battles. So I got this. Let's go to the home page and see how it affects the benefits that we put here. There we go. Very nice. Love it. La la la, love it. La la, love it. Okay. From small breakpoints, it takes this style. That's how I remember it. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So it takes like the smallest breakpoint style that is applied, and if you don't override it by anything larger, then it's not gonna apply. Yeah. That's how I also understand it. Did I write it? Clean code that you deserve. I'm glad I can make myself laugh. Okay. So what do we have in the see more? That's about, see more, about. Here should be like a spinner where while we're waiting for stuff, let's go here. Perfect. Perfect. Now maybe this stuff can be worked on a little bit. Although this is, I feel like its own kind of like forest of demons that are waiting to be unleashed. I'm not sure I'm ready for that. Maybe we can fix the footer. Let's go to the footer. Footer seems a little bit less complicated. Although I might be very regretting saying that. But I will not know until I try. Okay. There we go. So we have this div. And then, okay, so we have the welly is one thing. Then we have the links is another thing. And then we have the Facebook stuff. And Twitter and Instagram. That's another thing. Did I put anything here? Just the regular. Okay. So I'm gonna use this space thingy that you told me about. So I removed that. Now it needs to be all yep. And here it's gonna be space x4. I cannot believe how easy it is. This is so freaking awesome. Sorry for that pitch, but damn. Damn, this is good. Okay, let's give it maybe 8 or 6 was fine. Or 8. Yeah, 8's alright. Damn. Okay. So now we need to do a flex column, right? So our brand stays on top, and then flex, and we're gonna have small is gonna be flex. Well, actually, we could just do flex wrap, right? Yeah, but then that's a very bad wrapping, isn't it? Or not? I think actually the wrapping is not bad. What's bad is that the space is still there. Yeah, so we will not be able to control it super well. So let's try with flex column. Yeah, and I also want to do space Y because this is the future, kids. This is the future. What is happening here though? I also want this to be a flex column. Or can this be a flex wrap? No, nothing. Flex column. And on MD it's gonna be flex row. Yep. And align. What happened to align items? Oh, it's items center. I don't know how I feel about that. So space Y did it, but then flex column, and then MD was flex row, and then space X. MD is gonna be space X0. No, the opposite. It's gonna be 8, and initially it's gonna be 0. Yep. And then MD space Y is going to be 0. So we add spaces horizontally when it's a bigger screen, and we remove it when it's a smaller screen because we don't need the spaces. But we add spaces vertically when it's a smaller screen, and remove it when it's a bigger screen. Okay. Now, ain't that looking kind of crappy? Oh, it has MX Auto, doesn't it? Yep. So it's gonna have MX Auto only on MD. Yes. MD. Yep. So margin top, no, sorry, margin bottom is going to be 4, and then MD margin bottom 0. Good. But I still don't think, well, it's a little bit not aligned, but it's okay, I guess. And these ones could go in one line, right? Or screw it. So we could actually use the flex order. We could do, how do you flex order in here? Oh, there we go, order. Let's try it out. Let's do order 1, order 2, and then order 3. There we go. So what I want to do is on smaller screens, I want this part to be first there, and then the rest of the links. Sadiq is asking how to create React project, but I think you already asked it before and I answered it to you. That there is a script to run and it gives you a boilerplate of folders. So. But actually this is something, if that's what you mean, this is something that you can also Google and you're gonna get much more information than whatever I say. What more? Right, so now actually I want them to flex. Just type npx create react app along with a product name in your terminal. Yep, there you go, Sadiq. You got the solution. So flex. Boom. And MD block. Yeah. So order 2, putting right. Oh, this we know we can use space X4. Very nice. And when I start npm error display, you have to have node and npm installed on your machine. Honestly, Sadiq, I think Google would help you much more, because I have no idea. This might be some specific error that somebody else has already solved. So Google has a lot of answers. So you know what I want to do? I want to have the welly, and then I want to have the thing is here. But for that, I'll need to have this and this. I think this is the thing. Is that? No, because it's an inline block. Should be fine. So we have the block. Which other displays? We have the flex, but that's not what we need here. Inline? Yeah, none of them can help. Okay, it's getting too complicated for a footer that doesn't necessarily matter that much. It looks all right to me so far. So, because if I would want to achieve what I want to achieve, I would need to add another div for those ones. But then how would it work when I want to separate them? It wouldn't. So we're not going to be doing that. Oh, yeah, right. Because we didn't specify the order once the screen changes. So from MD, it's order 2. Order 1 stays, and here we do MD order 3. There we go. And space X4 in MD is gonna be 0. Right? Right. Cool. Well, we can have like a margin bottom on here. Do I need the MD block? And the flex? Yeah. Okay. Wait a second. Margin bottom. Do I need a margin bottom though? It looks... Yeah, okay. Margin bottom can be 4 or like 8 to have like a big cut. But does it look fine? I don't think it looks fine. Inline flex. Yeah, I tried it with the inline flex. It didn't do anything. MB6 is fine. And then MD, MB0. Alrighty, we fixed the footer. So we have one tiny moment when it's like this. but I can live with that. I don't mind it. It's still readable, it's still clickable for the users, and that's what matters. Yeah, I'm pretty content with the footer that we have. So look at that, we have a fancy footer, we have this responsive, this not. This is alright, I don't mind it. Although maybe the button is too small. And then the top products need to be a little bit more. Yeah, this one is also not. Okay, let's continue. So, but first, 5 minutes break because I need to put my eye drops. See ya in 5 minutes. Alrighty, I'm back. Even managed to make myself some tea. So, shall we continue? Where were we? Right, I wanted to continue with the responsive part, so it's like kind of like out of our way for at least for the existing pages that we have. So, where is this component? Where is this clean code that you deserve witty thingy? Unique selling point. Of course. Okay, so the image, and then I have the description. This container makes auto flex, so it's gonna be, again, it's the same gist really. So it's gonna be flex column, and then MD, it's gonna be flex row. There you go, beautiful. With that said, we should probably give it a margin bottom to the image this time, because when it's bigger, they kind of both gonna have the margin bottom now, so I'm not bothered by it. It's not supposed to misalign them. You see, if you see the container, you see that where the image ends and where like the, what is it, like, it's not a dotted line. What line is it? You know, like the one with the the one with the tiny lines. The border of it is a little bit lower, and here it's, oh, here it's this margin bottom. So I didn't, no. So that's not what I expected, but nothing we cannot fix. We're just gonna do, so I don't like to leave just like hanging margins here and there, because later on it can actually affect your layout and it's just not clean. So I would actually rather do MD margin bottom 0, because, you know, because now it's clean. And as somebody said, clean code that you deserve. Accept. So this one's alright. This one we might work on as well when it gets smaller. So this is the image here, this is the footer. I don't mind that this image is big here. What I do mind is that it's not centered. Item center and also justify content. Is it justify item center? No. What was that? It's always a little bit different in every framework. Justify item center is what I just added. Justify between, so justify center should be justify center, but I don't think there is such thing. Use aspect ratio for the image in Tailwind. Yeah, we could, but I'm actually fine with the image there. I don't mind it like that. Although I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what you're talking about, so I am gonna check it out. Justify. Why doesn't it offer me? Come on. Justify item center. Okay, so this is what I want. But. Okay, maybe it's because of this. Yeah. So you see, I'm tackling the issue in the wrong place. So medium should be margin right, but then regular should be margin right 0. There we go, because there was a margin right that was like pushing it to the side, which we need for this type of layout. We want this margin. Although, now that we know the super secret weapon of space something something, we could just do that. But it's also fine to do this. So we could use that, but we will still need to do like on smaller to this, on bigger to that. So why do we have this? This is a padding. Comes from the container probably, right? Do I need to use the container here? Yeah, I do. Or do I? Maybe that's actually beautiful like this. What do you think? No, but why did this stretch the whole? Yeah. Or is it too much? I think with the lack of content that we have, it might be a little bit too much. And now let's Google the image ratio. Aspect ratio. That's cool. Oh, so I would need to require it, right? But that's fine. I don't think we need to use it here now. But I think if we would want to fix Tailwind plugin, yeah. If we would want to fix we could have this approach for the plugin for the whole images eventually, actually. But maybe not right now, because right now it's alright. But that's a cool thing. Yeah. Okay. Be smart, be natural, be you. Is it me, or those things are not equally distributed? Why did I use flex on here? Could somebody tell me? Okay, maybe they are. Although using flex one on them is a little bit weird. No, because it's not the order, right? Well, okay. I did what I did and it works. So. This is bothering me. It looks fine to me. Yeah, to me as well. I think if we would want to go deeper into that, we could do that. But for now, I think it's fine. Okay, what about this pinky one? Should I keep it like that? I think I should keep it like that. I shouldn't have everything like one after another. It's not like a landing page, right? Okay. So we got this sorted. That's all right. Now, shall we sort this thing? Because this one is a little bit sad. A little bit is an understatement though. Let's go to the home page and we go to main banner. What do we have here? Hero banner align is a bit off. Yeah, not by a bit. I think like very off by every measurement. So initially it was supposed to be an image like this, you know, so one that doesn't have any background, so it's easier to move it around, and it also has like this price thingy there. I still didn't prepare that image, so that's on me, but we can design with that idea in mind. So if that would be a responsive design for this thing, for this whole thing, then I would say that as soon as you load your app, or your mobile device, the website, this would go on the top, and then you have some description, right? Because first you kind of like need to show the user what it is, because I think putting text first and then adding the image, or we just remove the image from there. We just have like text, and then straight away you scroll and you see product. Could be a thing. Because in our case, we're not selling a product here. Here is just like an image. Hero section could be in 2-column grid. Yeah, for sure. But I think I didn't do it proper because we never had a proper image for it. And also this, right, is like... Removing the image I think would be the easiest, but I also think that it's a practice that is pretty common. What do you think? Let's try it out. Let's see how it works. So, is there a thing like none? Okay. What would be hidden then? They don't use hidden? Yeah, that's a little bit confusing. Okay. Okay. Then once it's go like this, I don't like it actually. I prefer it with the image. From empty display inline. Yeah. I sometimes use block. I think in this case it was fine because we have the flex from the parent container. So what would I like to do? Let's maybe have orders. And I want to have flex call and then md flex row. Flex. No. Oh, wait. So reverse. And then I don't need this shebang. Hey, high five. Nice, nice. Very good. Yeah, color reversal, perfect. So imagine that this would be like a very appealing image, and you will not have those borders, so we'll not need to align it, but we still should align it, right? It shouldn't be not aligned. Yeah, there's the margin left, which should not be there. MD margin left 0. Boom. Cool. And what about, that's the page starting a little bit later. So where is that? Is that a generic index? No. I go to the app and in my home, there it is, margin top. So MD can be margin top like hell. And what if I have margin top 0? I think I do want something, right? Like 10. Nah. 4. Or maybe none, you know, because we're gonna have again like a very free image. So maybe I don't need that. But I'll keep it as a 0 for now, and then once I change the image, I'll see. Next. We need something here. Oh, what is this? This looks really nice. Besmudged. Not a very good marketing thing. You don't want your makeup to be smudged. Why would you advertise it as besmudged? Or maybe somebody does, and I'm just like out of the fashion thing. So, what was I doing before I got distracted with the makeup? This one. Margin bottom can be a 4. Yep. And then medium would be margin bottom 0. And I think it's alright. Like, it's not too bad, is it? Maybe here, like the margins can be a little bit less. Where is this? Be natural, be smart idea. What? Yeah. Okay. PX20 can be in medium. Yeah, that's perfect. That's nice. That's when the container actually worked to our advantage and we have like some spacing here going on. Cool. Button maybe can be a little bigger. But I cannot be bothered by that right now. I think it's all right. This is a little bit... like this and this is not really... Maybe I remove it from the smaller and then I remove it from here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna remove it from there. So where's our top product? Top products. Okay, let me check one thing. In the button link, I need to pass on also some classes. So like this, and now if I pass here class name, and it's gonna, well, I don't have to put it like this, I can also do it like this. I'm gonna be here. There you go. So you see, whenever you have a component, if somebody's still watching, whenever you have a component that you created yourself and you want to add classes depending, so like that are applied from the parent, not necessarily like that are unified throughout the whole thing. Of course, you could have done something like is true and only then render this thing. But since we're not, in order to do that, you would need to check the width of the screen and do a JavaScript thing with the window and blah. But since we're using the Tailwind things and we don't need to have any like JavaScript check whichever width of the screen it is, we just apply classes. So if you want to have your class names applied from the parent to the component downwards, you can specify them as a prop, like I did here, class name, which this actually could have been any name. It could have been style, it could have been classes, whatever you want. But just for the sake that, you know, class name is a class name. Everybody knows class name in React. And you just add it to whichever classes you have here, you know, and this way you don't always have to have them, but if you do, then they would be applied here. And it's pretty helpful to have this also there, because then the, like, your components are being a little bit more flexible. So now medium is gonna be block. Yep, there we go. Perfect, 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 perfect. I'm really liking it. Well, after I changed the image, but I'm not mad at it. That says a lot, doesn't it? What's happening with the space here though? I think it's because of this bud. So let me enlarge it. So this is our container. And this is the next one. What is happening between those two? I think because this one, yeah, this one's position relative, so it has this thing. Do I want to deal with that? Nope. Does the white space bother me? Not enough to fix it. Mariana is asking, hey Dana, do you also make designs for your sites? So this one is not my design. This one is a design, here it is. We found it on Behance, and the designer who created this, the creator, is Piotr Medycki. I have it in the description box. I mentioned his name. And I also have the link to the UI, so to this Behance thing, if you want to check it out, who did it. But usually I design my websites for personal projects, right? At work, we have UX designers for that. And branding and everything, so I don't know. But any project, any website that I did by myself, yeah, I did the design. Do we feel like we need some more spacing here? Are you a front-end engineer at your company? Yep, I am. We have mainly Java on the backend, and at least my department, we're very heavily front-end based applications, so, you know. Pankaj, is this video available after live stream? Yes, it is. In the description, under this video, there is even a playlist where I have all the videos from this series, if you're interested in it. So what do I have here? Top product. And then, okay, button link, that's what I hid right now. Oh, and the secondary banner is this one, so could I give like a negative margin to this thing? Because, you know, I say that it doesn't bother me, and then you see what we have. Clearly bothers me. Minus margin. There we go. When I have minus margin, do I have bottom? Yeah. $10 would be enough, I think. Perfect. Perfect. Love it. It's here. There we go. Still didn't fetch. There we go. Took a second. Have you installed Tailwind CSS extension? In Chrome? No. You mean this thing what I was doing here? This is, as far as I know, this comes from Chrome, from the DevTools. They have it. Like whenever it reads out all the classes available, so even if I would write .footer by myself, it would still recognize it and it would allow me to use it here. It's pretty neat. I really like using it like that. VS Code could be. Let me check. Where am I installed? Ah, here it installed. Tailwind. Yep. Tailwind CSS IntelliSense. Yep. I think, who told me that? I think Tarek, who was very active in previous streams before I did the big break, he recommended this one, if I'm not mistaken. Could have been somebody else. Okay, so we have this now. But there was something more that I wanted to do. What was that? Oh, I wanted to add a margin here. Right, so I would do it here. A margin top of 10, which would do nothing, because maybe this has a margin bottom of 10. Yeah, so I don't know if you know, but margins, they don't add up, they collapse. So if I have an element that has a margin bottom of 10, and then I have another element that has a margin top of 10, it's not gonna be 20 in between, they're gonna be 10. That's just how margins work. If you want to have like add and add, then it has to be padding, or you need to increase the size of it. 20 looks all right, because I think here we also have 20 and here 20. So on smaller screens, we don't need. This is gonna be medium, and without it, it's fine like that, isn't it? I think it is. Wow, we did changes in 18 files. I think it has been one of the most productive streams in a while. So happy with the outcome, for real. For real. Never say this word, but apparently today I do. So I have Willy, home, search is nothing, about is nothing. Maybe I'll do the about on the weekend or something. Just add space white. That might... It's a good idea. I know it's a good idea, but I think because I played with the layout here, it might bite me a little bit. So I'm a little bit cautious to do that, but it is a very good idea. Okay, let's see what we did here. Same. And then once we go like this, then this one shrinked, this products are here, you know how that. This is also the view of probably an iPad view or like a tablet. And then once we grow a little bit bigger, we have it like this and this, which is pretty neat in my opinion. But you know, I also built it, so probably a tiny bit biased here. And this is the big view. This image is killing it. Not in a good way. Okay, so let me write down my tasks. I'll need to do find a freaking image. Looks good, yeah? So, stream to do. And something else. See, I already forgot about, oh, the about page. And it's just gonna be like very regular content, nothing. Just a second, my music stopped. There we go. Nothing over the top, just like regular content stuff. Right? I'll find something how it should look like. Nothing sophisticated. So I'm gonna do the image and I'm gonna do the about page. I think this is all right for now, because this we're gonna tackle once we do the search page, which is gonna be this one. Yeah. Maybe I should also do something like this. And like nicey nice. Okay, I really have some homeworks to do here to work on the content of the website. And then the question remains, what will we do on what looks like Monday? Let me close the poll because we are gonna meet each other on Monday, not Wednesday. Oh, well, it was quite close. Maybe I can do both. We'll see. I'm not gonna promise I had anything. So I still need to figure out what should we do next. It's gonna be the cart or it's gonna be the search. Both are JavaScript intense-ish kind of things. So I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe I'll do another poll on my community tab for later on. But for now, this has been a very, very, very well what did I want to say? I don't know. A very good stream. We managed a freaking lot. Search page is interesting. Yeah, right? There can be a lot of filtering methods and all of that. So I think it can be also a good idea to do it. So yeah. And what I'm thinking is that the cart would be affected also by the functionality that we're adding on the search page. So maybe before having the search page would not make sense to have something else, you know? Yep. So I'll find an image to replace this. I'll do the about page. I'll fix some content here to not, so it doesn't look too sad. Looking good. Thanks everyone. And I'm gonna push to GitHub everything we did today. If somebody is checking it later, wants to check it out, what we did. Yeah. And I think that's really, like, there's not much to say anymore about it. Yeah, loaders we would need to add eventually, but that's, you know, as always, that's like, loaders are not MVP style. I really like this view. I really like how it looks like. Especially this tiny thing. I think also the color combination is really nice. Missing something here, I think, but maybe not. Maybe we could add like a yellow circle here. Like these ones. Maybe I could do that. Wait, let me write it down. It came out good today with all that responsive layout. Yeah, right? Was a big overdue on that. Okay, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks for helping a lot and opening my eyes on some Tailwind classes that I would never probably have stumbled on myself unless I would have coded in Tailwind for a very, very long time. So I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thanks for keeping me company, for seeing how we code, what we do here, and I will see you Monday then. And until then, I wish you a good day, evening, night, wherever you are. Stay safe and see you Monday. Bye.